Hello and welcome to UMBC's IO Information Session Open House. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you all here. This is the we're looking for the sixth incoming class, I believe, of students coming in. This will be for fall 2012. The program started in fall 2007, and we have had about 52 graduates from this program. I'm going to take a few minutes. My name is Dr. Diane Alonso. Some of you know me if you've been here as undergraduates. And I am the program director, the UMBC program director for the psychology program in general. Following my welcome, we'll introduce Dr. Ted Rosen, who is the graduate program director. And he is the one who has all the knowledge of IO psychology, and will tell you a lot more about IO psychology specifically and how it relates to our program here. But I'll just give you a brief overview of what the program looks like and how it's been developed. As I mentioned, we started in fall 2007. We have about 52 graduates. Our graduates have gotten lots of great jobs. We have students who work at Booz Allen, Westat, NIH, Homeland Security, Defense Department, many other places. And we're very proud of our students. Many of them come back, and you're going to hear from some of our current students and alumni who have been in the program and can give you some of their experiences about the program. A couple of things that are really special about this program. One of the things our students find that they really enjoy is, in addition to the coursework that we provide, the standard coursework, which was developed using SIOP guidelines, the Society for IO Psychology, right? Right. So it does really go towards those guidelines. We have courses that are in HR. We have courses that deal with statistics and data analysis. We have courses in ethical, legal issues, in human resources, and IO psychology. We look at organizational behavior. But in addition to the coursework we provide, we have a capstone course where our students in their last semester get the opportunity to go out into the field and work in an organization. It could be something where you already work, or be placed in another institution where you actually serve as kind of a consultant to the organization. And it's a wonderful hands-on experience, and I believe that this is really one of the highlights of the program. It gives you an opportunity to really go out and use the skills that you're learning in the real-world settings. For those of you who may not have had a job before, this will really get you into the field. And for those of you who are already maybe working in human resources or maybe some other area, it gives you a chance to try on some different hats and see what you like and how what you've learned relates to what's going on in the world. And these can, of course, lead to full-time opportunities, whether it's with this company. There's no guarantee a job placement, but whether it's with this particular company or strong recommendations and references for other jobs. It's a great starting point for when you leave UMBC's IO psychology program. Another thing that we're really proud of with this program is our advisory board. We have advisory members who work in IO psychology and have relation to IO psychology. We have connections to the Department of Education. We have connections to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. And we have a student member on the board, an alumni. And it really helps us keep connected to what is happening in the field of IO psychology. So when we teach you something in a course, we are still connected to what's happening in the field. The MPS program, the Masters of Professional Studies program, is a very applied program.
We're looking at the kind of program that gives you a strong background in many areas that can be applied not only in human resources but organizational work, all kinds of organizations. I mean, I've had students in the past, not here, but have taken similar courses with me who are medical doctors, laboratory scientists, social workers, with the idea of becoming better managers, better able to deal with people. Teams are the vogue these days. You can't do anything without a team. Well, how do you work on the team? I'm sure most of you have heard of groupthink. We certainly avoid those kinds of negative group dynamics. So let me go through this presentation briefly with you. You have a copy on the PowerPoint handout in your folder. And don't hesitate to ask questions. We're on your time now. And then afterwards, excuse me, as Diane said, we'll talk to Lauren, and these are current students right up here in the front row, as well as Miss Crosby. Many of you, I think, might have already contacted her, and Ashley Waters in the back, who is a program coordinator, about the administrative side of things. So, without further ado, what is industrial psychology, I hear you ask?
What is industrial?
You're right, you asked the right question. Next Monday I get to do that in a real class, I'll get the same response. It involves applying theories and research methods to the workplace. It's all about improving workplace performance, and not necessarily with technology. It also focuses on enhancing the human well-being and performance in organizational work settings. The human well-being. That's why we're psychologists. If you believe in technology and money, I will encourage you to go to an MBA program. And I've taught in those programs and have been associated with them for a long time as well. And they're good, but not if you're going to look at dealing with people. We bring a whole new dimension to management. And I guess I'll read the whole thing, just in case you left your glasses home like I do often. IO psychology is the scientific study of the workplace. Rigor and methods of psychology are applied to issues of critical relevance to business, including talent management, coaching, assessment, selection, training, organizational development, performance, and work-life balance. It's only been the last 10 or 15 years that organizations have realized that people do retire. And then they think, wow, who's going to replace our top people? So not only career development, but career development looking at succession planning. And they get intertwined. When you're young, like most of you are anyway, you come in an organization, yeah, you got to pick up the basic skill sets, learn about organizational issues, but at some point you're going to start focusing on the content. Well, along with focusing on the content of the work, somebody's got to administer this work and manage it and direct it. And that's where we get into succession planning, not secession, but succession planning, and who's going to make it to the top in 15 years. Career development includes leadership development, understanding teams and groups, again, group dynamics, motivating people, avoiding stress in the workplace. Any of you ever have any stress at work? If you're not raising your hand, you're in trouble. Yeah, we all do. I guess Lauren works in... Thank you. No, a lot of people do, and that's probably to save yourself. And a lot of people feel that way. I'm teaching the course Organization Behavior Management this semester, and that's where we get into the workings of the organization. Stress management takes a lot of attention for us. Okay, so what are the parameters of our program? I'll answer that question, thank you. Master's level education, yes, in the areas of human resources, personnel training and development, and organizational behavior. An applied curriculum. All of your instructors, including myself, are out there working in the field. I'm the only full-time person here on the staff of UMBC. We have people, for example, Dr. Dunleavy, who teaches the legal course, legal issues in IO psychology, prepares a lot of court cases as a witness, expert witness, validation studies, all kinds of HR suits. Pick up the Wall Street Journal any day and you'll see a company settling a grievance. Today there was a big one. I forgot which company because it went by my screen so fast. And the company realized that they settled for something like $3 million, I believe. So you as managers, your job is to avoid those kinds of issues with your staff and save the company all that money. That's how we get involved. So another instructor, Dr. Malazzo, is a statistician by training. He and I worked together many years ago, and he teaches human performance technology. How do we measure human performance in the workplace? Develop performance standards. That's what it's about. He also teaches program evaluation, very statistically oriented course, I believe. And that's about, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we working smartly and efficiently? Program evaluation, very common out there, etc. I don't want to go into all the courses. Okay, Diane mentioned the advisory board, and these are people also working in the field. I don't know, it's kind of dark out there now, but next door is a big, gigantic green building. If you come here early in the day, you'll see it. Human Genome Technologies, part of the biotech industry out the 270 corridor here. The vice president in charge of human resources is on our board. She's actually on the board of this campus executive board. So, you know, you got to get the psychologists in where we can. And UMBC has a surprising number of deans who just happen to be in the psych department. And I think some of the ratings they've been getting on the main campus reflect that caring attitude where it's not just grinding out graduates, but it's developing a quality of life and quality of education. And it filters down to all of us. Okay, and as she mentioned also, we follow the guidelines of IO Psychology and the Society of Industrial and Organizational Psychology. And I believe 100% of the faculty are members. I know I've been a member for many, many years. And if you're a member in PSYOP, as we call it, you have to be a member of the American Psychological Association or the Association of Psychological Science, which is a 25-year-old huge organization of psychologists, mostly people who have taken the practitioner point of view. APA has leaned toward the mental health and counseling issues, which is why APS was formed 25 years ago. It was quite a big event in the psych world. So you've got to be a member of the two big ones to be a member of PSYOP. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's their website. Many of you might have gone there and found our school listed, our program listed. This is one of the few professional websites where you get most of the information without logging in or without being a member. When I log in as a member, I end up with the personal data and directory and things like that. That should not go out to the world. But for students and for others who want to look at our field, it's a great website and it's very easy to handle. Lots of information there. Okay. This program is intended for early and mid-career professionals planning to enter or advance in the IO workplace. What is the IO workplace? It's somebody's answering the question.
I was going to say it's every workplace, everything's IO.
Thank you.
Was that right?
Well, it's not only everything IO, it's everything in the organization. I did not ask her to sit there, by the way. I don't know her. I've never met her before.
Can't believe I got it right.
How about that? She comes in possibly with 5 points on her record already. Wow. It's a very broad field. As I said before, it gives you basic knowledge, skills, and abilities to go into many different directions. And this might sound a little weird, but I also have taken it into the world of training people about drugs, not how to use them. Thank you. Have to make that statement up front. But dealing with management of substance abuse in the workplace. When I actually worked with pharmacologists, psychiatrists, occupational doctors, and nurses in dealing with a large organization and how to manage the workforce. Survey research is another big area, human resources, all the aspects there. So it's a very broad field, and you can take the skills, as I said before, they're transportable in many places. You can come here as a part-timer, which is 1 course per semester. And we do have one young lady who is sticking to it, and she'll get out of here in another year, I believe. But she's been plugging away and doing a fine job, and she works at Westat, one of the large human resources contractors down the street. Literally down the street. Full-time is 3 courses a semester. If you take full-time, 3 courses a semester, and 1 summer course, you're out of here in 3 semesters. All students start in the fall semester, so you can graduate. If you start this fall 12, you can graduate in fall 13, which is basically the end of December 13. Full-time. And yes, we have 1 on-campus summer program, summer course, and we give you the opportunity to take 2 online Department of Education courses in training and development, so you can be anywhere in the world and take those courses during the summer. By the poolside, Acapulco, the Swiss Alps, whatever. And nobody's going to care where you are. Mostly evenings. The only non-evening course is Saturday. And I do try and run 1 course on Saturday. The commute is a lot easier on Saturday morning, in case you didn't notice the, your 200 million colleagues on the road coming out here. But it makes life easier for a lot of people, and for some of the instructors. They like working Saturday mornings. Weekends, okay, we took care of weekends. All site courses are offered here. This is it, this building. You probably will never be in this room for a course until your capstone presentation, where we've been here now a couple semesters. It's a good presentation room with the stadium effect. And it's good for taping as well. Again, the education courses are offered online. You do not do a thesis. Diane pointed out you do an applied project. I call it the capstone experience, and she described it pretty well. You find a problem at work that interests you, and you go attack it. Come up with a creative solution, work on it, help the organization, and you are a consultant to that organization. I handle all the capstones, at least so far, and act as your backup consultant. So if somebody might question you, and fortunately we haven't had this yet, but if somebody questions you about your background, you can tell them, well, I'm the project director, and I've done a few projects in my day. Fortunately, that doesn't happen. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, I have a question about the, you said it was an applied project?
Yeah.
What's the difference, in the applied project, do you do research in that as well, or is it just you, I guess, like you said, apply something, try to solve an issue, or do you have to do research as well?
It depends on the project.
Okay.
Theses are testing a hypothesis on a small scale project. We're not testing hypothesis. We're identifying a workplace situation that needs improvement, at least in theory, and you devise ways to do that. Now that requires perhaps a best practices review or literature review, as it's known in psychology. So you do a regular research type approach, but it's not that easily defined, very concise focus on one little issue and go attack it. We're dealing with real workplaces and real people. We don't talk to college sophomores here. I mean, we do, because I teach them once in a while. But that's this is where the, as I said before, the rubber meets the road. You're out there in the workplace. So it's not a thesis. We do not have comprehensive exams. Testing in your courses is what we trust. These people are experts. They know what the standards are, so if you meet the standards, you're out of here. Capstone experience, I mentioned. It's called a practicum in the catalog. It's not really a course, it's a tutorial. And I work with each student all the way through it, or as they need assistance. And then prerequisites in case you don't have Psych 1, which you probably do if you've taken social psych. And we like you to have statistics. It's a very quantitative field. The only course in this program that's required is our data analysis course. We are working on one of our advanced seminars which will focus on what kind of statistics do you do after that course. And I have the 3 statistician type professors working on that right now. And a lot of people have requested it. They said, you know, I heard over at Maryland College Park, that is, you know, they have 2 or 3 courses in the program, and George Mason over in Virginia has several stats courses, and we need to bolster that up because it is a statistical field, quantitative field. We're not going to make you experts necessarily, but we want you to feel comfortable and understand what it's about and be able to participate in designing a project. Okay? Requirements. Students register online. We have a neat little procedure. It's working well. It's been working where I have to allow you to register. I turn on your courses that you want to sign up for. You go online and register. I can't make it more succinct than that. Enrollments must be continuous. You can take a 1-semester leave of absence without raising the ire of anybody. But beyond 1 semester, we're going to start asking what's going on. Because if you break the rhythm, so to speak, of going through school, you know, the first semester you're getting your feet wet, you're creating your study routines, and then to break it 1 or 2 semesters in, you break that pace. And sometimes it's a little difficult to come back in and do it, get started again near the end of the program. So we'd like you to at least take 1 course a semester. Maintain a 3.0. We do give pluses and minuses, in case anybody's interested, and it does count on your transcript. A plus is a 0.67, and a minus is a 0.3, whatever's in front of it. And to find out more, here's the website you can go to. All right, here's the curriculum. Now, all this information is on your red sheets, as I like to call them. The one with the red border around it, it describes the program. Quickly, there are 5 core courses, including the data course, 672. You must take 672 and 4 other of those courses. Those are the core areas in the psychology. Beneath that, you'll see the capstone practicum, which is required, and that's the last course you take here, or the last semester you're taking courses here. And you take 4 of the 5, well, 4 actually, of the specialty courses. Now this is where you have flexibility. We rotate through a number of those advanced seminars, so you can pick and choose which ones you like. There's a couple of courses in there, and that's what you, where your choices really come. They're a little more focused, the specialty courses. Okay? Here's your fall choices. And the current students are seeing this for the first time. See? They're getting pencils and pens out, and they're going to start fighting for position. By the way, we're fortunate that we don't have any closed out classes yet. But as we continue to grow, rather than close out classes, either we'll add more courses or we'll add second sections. I don't believe in big classes in graduate school. Industrial organizational, it's a survey. Most students take it the first semester, but you don't have to. The course you should take the first semester is the next one, 672. It's a program requirement, and it really helps you think quantitatively and be able to get into the rest of the courses. And I think it adds to your understanding of those other areas, including assessment. Seminar in social psychology, excuse me. Social psychology. Social psychologist who happens to work in recruiting and placement in Baltimore teaches that course. The data analysis course I forgot to mention is taught by Dr. Griffith, who does survey research for the Coast Guard civilians, the civilian Coast Guard agency downtown. And he also teaches our summer course this year called Organizational Surveys. He's working on the quantitative advanced stat course. Legal, ethical, and professional issues. It's all about courts, challenges. If you're doing something ethical, does that mean it's legal? Or, let's play the game. If you're doing something legal, does that mean it's ethical?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. 5 more points to the young lady. For years, I used to follow the court cases. There are just too many at the lower courts. But when there's a Supreme Court decision, we all pay attention, because that's where case law is really written. And many of us on the faculty have worked as expert witnesses on cases. Some are just, if you go one way, you're no good, and if you go the other way, you're still no good. And in a lot of the previous cases, going back to Griggs versus Duke Power, first Supreme Court case in Title VII litigation, it gets more detailed and really tough to make those decisions. And here we have the justices, none of whom are psychologists, trying to be pardon?
There's a heavy reliance on like calling in a subject matter expert.
Yes. And these cases last for years. You know, don't watch the TV shows. Even the criminal cases last longer than an hour. There's a trend going from objective number econometric decision making into what's been called behavioral decision making, where you bring in the social psychologists. That's great. A fellow from NYU just made a presentation at Georgetown University, and I'm getting his presentation on neuropsychological impacts on decision making, economic decision making. Talk about the psychology of decision making. So I have a lot of fun with that course. I enjoy it. I don't know about my students, but don't ask these guys about the course. They haven't taken it yet. Lauren took it.
For decision making?
Yeah. She won't squeal. Okay. One more seminar, and I'm not sure what that's going to be perfectly honest, because let's see where the stat course goes. And I would not recommend it for you coming into the program to take an advanced stat course right away. You should take the 672. Okay, the Education 602 is the online instructional systems development. You can take 2 of those courses, education courses, in our program and get credit for it. Once you graduate, if you want to take 2 more online courses, the Department of Education gives you a professional certificate in online training and development. If that interests you, hey, that's a valuable addition to your resume. Do you take it? Any of you guys take that yet? How was it?
I liked it. I took it during the summer, which made me have to work during the summer, but it was worth it.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. So that's the fall selection. We're strong on integrity, honesty, and truth and justice. And how strong are we? UMBC requires all graduate students at all levels and all departments to take an online tutorial on integrity, or you don't register for your second semester. Up here, this first link on the top is the link to the student handbook, graduate student handbook, and the bottom link is the tutorial. Take it sometime during the first semester. Actually, you could probably take it once you have registered and they have you down. All right, so that's the website. The graduate school website is there. You might have been there already. How many have applied? I'm just curious. Any of you applied? Oh, great, great. For those who haven't, you go right to the graduate school and you'll see the application process. Everything's online. I encourage anybody who applies to make sure your references are aware of cutoff dates. This is a busy time. Don't forget, we're an applied program. These are the applied people. And chances are you're going to go back to that job or keep that job throughout the program. When you graduate, that's the time a lot of students start thinking about leaving and moving up in the world. And that's the way it is. Yes?
Is the GRE required for applying or?
No. Question was, are GREs required? And the answer is no. If you think you're borderline or you want to boost it and you've gotten a pair of 800s, send them in. Organizations are becoming universal. Think about your favorite conglomerate, and they're all over the world. Here's a question I'll let you walk home with, and that is ethics around the world. If you have 100 countries and you have 100 facilities, what's your ethical base? What ethics do you apply to your organization? If you're here, hopefully you apply US ethics. But what at the same time you have a place in Kenya? You think the ethics are the same?
Some of them.
Well, some of them, yeah. So that's rhetorical. No, it is a worldwide profession now, as are most professions.